E-Carrier Check Channel, where we bring you the insider tips, tricks, and insights to drive your sales and logistics business to new heights. Each week, your hosts, Jared and Nate, sit down with the top professionals in the industry, diving deep into everything from prospecting and cold calling to maintaining carrier relationships and maximizing your bottom line. Learn real-world strategies, hear success stories, and get actionable advice you can implement in your business today. So buckle up and get ready for an entertaining and informative ride. This is the E-Carrier Check Channel, your source for can't-miss logistics intelligence. Stay tuned.
Hello, good morning, happy Friday. Good to be here, man.
Dude,
You know,
it's Friday.
It is Friday, and I love it. I love it because Fridays are typically a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, pretty low key.
Yeah, pretty low key. You know, I'm glad we were able to make it today. Our summer's a little bit wacky. You know, like we said last week, we do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys spend time with your family over the summer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kids are out of school. You got to make it happen.
Got to chill. Yeah, I only got a couple weeks left, and then they're back in. Not even.
Yeah.
You know.
School's starting. We'll probably get back to normal on our shows here.
Yeah.
I know you got one more family trip coming up here.
So
I'm happy for you guys. It's probably good for the kids, kind of get out of town one more time.
Yeah.
So, Chief Freight Hauler, Gabe, what is up, guys?
What's going on, gentlemen?
That is
Good to
awesome.
see you.
Thanks
How's
for
your
being
week
here.
been?
Yeah. Today we're talking, you know, spot markets,
Yeah.
rates, you know, bidding, things like that. We helped out a couple brokers this week, specifically with like bidding and talking rates. So I'm excited to kind of hear your feedback on what you heard this week.
Yeah.
And kind of what, you know, what they're seeing over there. But first off, you know, let's talk about our week, man. You know, we didn't go live Wednesday. We had some stuff going on, but
we shot a podcast with the guys from Domicile.
So we did do a podcast. I
Yeah.
should be dropping
a couple weeks.
So that was a good chat. That was a very good chat. Those guys are really good. It's nice to team up with other podcasters. I love that.
Yeah. There's been some wild news in the in transportation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the obviously the UP, Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern merger.
Yeah,
you know,
huge.
Coming out this week. That'd be wild. You know, obviously KCS or Kansas City Southern merged with one of the Canadian railroads.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a gun. You know, I mean, that's going up and down. I mean, this is east-west. That's just going to make them a powerhouse in my mind. Right.
Wow.
So that's kind of interesting news. A lot of people's financials have been dropping the last week and a half.
Okay.
And that's always interesting to watch, whether it's, you know, these trucking companies. There's a large trucking company that went out of business down in Florida this week, 400 units.
Sure.
And just hearing these executives, you know, if you do the recaps of their of just the breakdown of their financials, I get more from, you can see the numbers, but you get more from what they have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, you know, from the carrier's perspective, you know, they didn't want to really talk about like Knight and Swift and JB Hunt. They weren't talking spot market. They're talking contracts. You know what I mean? Nobody really talked about the spot market on those calls, which was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, C.H. Robinson, which I thought was interesting, you know, they're, I don't remember exactly their numbers, but, you know, they had a fairly decent, it was like a double digit doing more with less sort of situation going on with their employee count was down like 18%.
Oh, wow.
And I think the revenue was mid. Give me a second, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of it was interesting. Give me a second, I'll tell you. I thought I had it pulled up here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But you know, anytime you get those, you know, volumes still soft, you know, stable,
Mm-hmm.
you know, cautiously optimistic. we've been cautiously optimistic since I've been in the freight industry for 15 years.
That's fair.
This is what they all say. Like trucking is it's so slim, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just one of those things where it's like, what are we doing here? But
Jeez.
yeah, like hold on, I just there we go. Okay, so their revenue, CH Robinson's revenue is down 7%, but their income was, but the income from operations was up 21. Yeah, they're 17% less year over year with headcount
Wow.
because they did that huge layoff with all their
Yeah.
sales reps
Right.
a couple while back. They have invested a ton of money in AI agents, and trying to quote spot market freight
Mhm.
via AI agents. Which honestly, of all the companies that are out there, I think actually FreightWaves just gave away an AI award to all these companies, and
Mhm.
all the basic ones, Happy Robot, and all those were on there. But CH Robinson made this list,
Really.
for
Yeah.
their use case and jump into
Mhm.
AI.
Wow. And I hate to even talk about this, but I'm curious on like how these big companies do like how do they come to the decision of who we let go? Are they getting rid of like the ones that probably just hired, or are you getting rid of the ones that you're paying the most?
I don't know.
You
That's
know,
hard.
it's like
They don't really necessarily go into who the target practice is,
right,
other than middle management always gets let go. The last time it was salespeople. I think they
right,
were over the phone salespeople, and this is where they kind of spent a lot of their time with AI going,
okay,
well, we could probably replace this guy. He's just sending emails back and forth.
right. So they're just
You
finding
know,
more effective and
yeah, they're just
cheaper
finding
ways to
efficient
do this.
ways of
Yeah,
doing things. So,
yeah,
but they definitely jumped all in on the AI side, which is
right,
kind of interesting. And they're just automating the quoting process within their system. So
right.
whether they're utilizing AI, they're at least using a lot of automation with
Hmm.
here's the lane, here's the equipment,
Yeah,
here's the weight. Well, what's our system say? I mean, if anyone has the best historical data
it's probably
it's CH Robinson.
yeah.
They have the most insane database ever. They could give anyone a quote just based on what they know.
Hmm.
So why not give access to some of that concept, right?
That's
Now,
fair.
whether
Yeah.
it's like fully like engaged, it may be more automation than
Hmm.
anything, but
Yeah, they're definitely adapting with the times and
yeah,
making it work.
yeah.
So, yeah, CH Robinson is not what they used to be. Speaking as a carrier,
I no, I mean they're definitely. I mean they've always been cheap, trim fat by cutting the low end of KPI performing people. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. You're going to get that for sure.
yeah,
I did think that the carriers, when you looked at it, like JB Hunt, their revenue was flat. Um, you know, Knight Swift, their net income was up, but barely any revenue growth. Schneider, revenue growth, but everyone just is kind of like, yeah, saw strength in dedicated divisions,
hmm,
things like that. So they weren't really talking spot market. They were talking more of contracts and things like that,
right,
where a lot of people that we deal with are in the spot market,
hmm,
right? They're competing against other brokers or they're carriers, and they're going to the load board. So we're in this kind of almost small niche when it comes to some of our tips, some of our
okay,
knowledge. You know what I mean? And I think what's interesting about some of the spot market, Gabe. If you don't follow Gabe
LinkedIn,
on LinkedIn, definitely do. But you know, you get situations that come up that kind of make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never bidding on that again.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
It almost makes you feel like you're just like, son of a bitch, I'm not doing it.
hmm,
And I think the first thing that really comes with rating, with playing in the spot market, is you just got to be willing to jump in again. You know what I mean?
right,
I'm sure after Gabe had that operational issue, that Gabe was like, what am I doing? Like,
hmm,
this is a mess. You know what I mean?
hmm,
And things, I think the customer's looking for how you react,
right,
how quickly you can fix the situation, because trucking isn't a perfect world. Just
right. Things happen. Like
yeah, shit just
you're
will
right.
just fall into place. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I hate the emails. I hate you feel almost like it's personal.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think that's probably the first thing is that, if
Yep.
you're going to be quoting in the spot market and you get one of these loads or a load goes awry,
Hmm.
you got to get harder skin. You know what I
Right.
mean? You've got
Yeah.
to not take it personal and jump back in again. Even though it
Right.
kind of hurts or you're hesitant, you're like, shit, is there a ground right there?
Right.
Or am I jumping in lava?
As long as you're, as long as you're letting that customer know, hey, here's what happened.
Yeah.
I'm finding a solution.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then just give them the best.
That's
I
what they
guess,
can. That's
right?
all they
That's all
can
you
do.
But
Yeah. That's
yeah,
all they can
but I
do.
can see why some people maybe take it to heart. It's like, oh man, I'm dropping the ball. on
Yeah.
this,
You
and-
take it personal. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Broker anxiety, man. C.H. Robinson got a customer for me a few months back. 900-mile low. They're covering it for 1440.
Eesh. See, that's always rough.
I think they're taking a loss trying to get more volume from that customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good insight.
And you never know. They may be getting a client that they may have a carrier that needs to get home every week or something.
And
There's-
probably break even almost.
Yeah,
maybe,
they just kind of cover the cost of fuel and they got to
Yeah.
go. There's some
Right.
weird lanes out there like this where all of a sudden, 900 miles and you're like, well, I can cover that for $1,300. I'm yelling at my carrier sales team trying to get answers. Yeah, exactly. This is how it feels when you don't control the whole process.
Mhm.
And you can't control it. The only thing you can do is control your phone calls, your check calls, and how you communicate
Right.
and how you react when the shit gets weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've all been there. I've lost my shit. I don't know how many countless times. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
That's
Right?
fair. That's fair. From your talks this week, though, where are people finding success when it comes to bidding? That's the spot market. And what are they doing to find success with this?
The people that have really been successful that I see, and we talk to a lot of different carriers and brokers on, well, how do I quote this lane?
Yeah.
Well, from a carrier's perspective, it's a little bit easier. Like his chief freight hauler, he knows his costs. We just talked to this cat this week. I love that, by the way. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
It's like
It was nice to hear your voice.
It's almost Christmas here. You know what I mean? Like we're like, holy shit, we talked to him. But it was like finding a Bigfoot for the first time in the Colorado forest. Just cheap freight hauler poking out, playing Where's Waldo. But from the carrier's perspective, you kind of know your variable costs, right? You know the things that are going to come up. Your running rate per mile. And where do you need to come in? You should also know that specific, area of the country.
Right.
In some particular cases, cheap freight hauler, that 1440 could be because there was somebody that worked cheaper in a backwards network, right?
Mhm.
They were the reverse of him, and they needed this to get home just to cover fuel, right?
Right.
But in some particular cases, from a broker's perspective, the brokers that I've seen have the most success in the spot market on a quick basis, because it almost feels like the spot market is like, it's like Jimmy John's.
It's freaky fast.
You have to do it in a fast amount of time in order to stand out in the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you get a quote and you don't get back with them within hour and a half, they've probably moved on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do it quicker, then perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the brokers that are seeing the most success is when they have broker relationships or carrier relationships in those areas.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something to be said about being able to. Oh, this is the lane. Oh, I need to call Jim.
Yeah,
Let's see what he needs.
Just
for
text
it, right?
him, email him.
And if
whatever.
Jim isn't available, no capacity. Hey Jim, you got any buddies? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like simple as that. And
Absolutely.
we hear a lot of those brokers doing that. Hey, oh, you can't do it today, Jim. Oh, Jim has a guy, a friend that is in trucking.
Yeah.
They helps him out. So it's nice when you can work together and Jim's willing to help. But when I tell my customer it'll be there, it needs to be there, and then I have an egg on my face. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's rough. I mean, it totally is rough. Like I get it. Like there
are loads in the spark that I don't even quote from my customer anymore.
There are loads in the spot that I don't even quote from my customer anymore. Yeah. And honestly, I still wouldn't be afraid to find it. I still wouldn't be afraid to go in, just find a higher quality option and still give them a solution. I always told the brokers, hey, find a solution. Even if we're not the high or the lowest price carrier, find a solution and still present it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that quoting animosity, like you're seeing right here, is that exact thing. You still, hey, even if it's not a good lane, I promise you at the right dollar, there's a good lane.
That's right.
You know what I mean? There's a quality carrier at some price point. I don't know where that's at, that you can relate to and say, hey, actually, I rev this really good guy. Here's his rate. Here's why it's his rate. I know I may not be the cheapest.
Mhm.
This guy's he's not gonna fail.
And here's the thing too, you know how many people probably put out recovery loads or second requests because people aren't bidding smart and
Right.
they're not finding a good solution. So that is it's right. Give them the best solution, even if it's not the cheapest, because there's a good chance they're probably gonna put it out again
Oh, for
because
sure.
broker A couldn't get it covered for what he bid it for, right?
Yeah.
So no, I like that.
I think imagine, and a lot of us played sports, right? As kids, you played sports. And imagine if you went and played that game with just the fear that I was going to fail or make a mistake every time I played.
Mhm.
Or imagine if you had the mindset of there's going to be failures and I'm just going to have to understand how to recover from that quickly, right? My son played baseball last year and he had some really good throws to first,
Mhm.
right? And he had some terrible throws to first. But he didn't play to fail. He played to understand that I'm going to have failures.
Yeah.
I need to recover and get over that little situation, right?
Mhm.
And so I really think, Gabe, I would go back, go find another solution,
Mhm.
even if it's at a higher rate. You're still giving them a solution. You're still a service provider. Um, you know, you can't stand the heat. Get out of the
Yeah.
kitchen. Unfortunately, you're going to get burned a shitload.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a matter of finding the way it is.
Right,
I put
right.
an all-in rate that I know will cover truck and possible issues, so at least break even. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to do something. You got to keep showing the solution.
Yeah.
Always quote you maybe 100 more than the cheapest option. Cheapest isn't
Yeah.
always the best option.
For sure.
100%. 100%. It's so funny. We used to use this rating tool in LTL, less than truckload.
Yeah.
And it would you just put in the dimensions, the zip codes, the class, and it would just pop up, all the carriers,
Mhm.
right? And the lowest carrier, you were like, oh, that's going to be terrible. Like you just knew.
Yeah.
And at that particular time, it was Roadrunner. Now they've kind of done a full circle. But at that particular time, Roadrunner, you were like, nobody's giving them their freight.
Mhm.
It was terrible. Like it was really terrible. Now they've done this full circle, and have done some other things here with their
Right.
service. But the cheapest option, definitely. You kind of hit it on the head.
How about those brokers that are living in the spot market, but no one wants to call them?
Mm.
Where do we go from there? Obviously, you have
Whew.
your carrier check.
Yeah.
Awesome platform for you to
Yep.
start reaching out, but how shitty is it that when you are posting loads and you're not getting any calls, and then it takes longer to get a rate back? You know what I
Right.
mean? You're trying to get quotes, right? It takes longer. And you got to pick up the phone, right? If you don't have relationships,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
This is a tough, this is tough, right? Because brokers, if you aren't getting calls, it's like a baby, right? A baby cries for three reasons, right? It either crapped his pants, right? It's hungry, or it's tired, right? So it's one of those three things. So you just kind of work through systematically what's going on with the
yeah.
kid, right?
Nope, not hungry.
Not
Okay,
hungry.
poop the pants.
All right,
Yeah.
you got a terrible diaper. Well, brokers, if they're not calling, in any particular way, it's either A, capacity shit that day and you need to find a different day, or you got to pay better, right? We hear that. We had a broker call us from LA to Arizona. Remember that gal?
Yep.
And I'm like, well, you're not going to get any calls at that rate.
Right.
You've got to pay the carriers.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is not going to happen, right?
Mhm.
She's just way too cheap. Or thirdly, your credit sucks.
Mhm.
And then what do? Right? At the end of the day, no matter what, either the price is the issue or you need better relationships and you just have to start calling
Yeah.
carriers and meeting them in the middle. That's in some way or form. If your credit's shit because you just started, which is possible, it's definitely one of those things where
Right.
I would come in and start to work with management to say, hey, is there a way we can start paying in 21 days or 15 days or 7 or something,
Right.
right?
Trying to turn
Some of
things
these
around.
huge brokers, TA services, those guys will just pay you in 7 days. I mean, they're nuts. They may take 2%, 3%. 7 days is cool though.
Yeah.
Cash is king.
Everyone's
You
getting
know what I
paid.
mean?
Yeah.
We need cash.
Yeah. These shippers go from the lowest rate, then work up the list price.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a lot of them, especially in the spot market, are the companies that just have irregular patterns with their freight. They may not have freight until the end of the month, or maybe they have a load Tuesday and 3 loads Thursday and 1 load Friday. You know what I mean?
Yep.
those guys are just living in this weird world where they're like, well, I really like this guy, and so I'm going to go with it. It's definitely, if you think about it from their perspective, yes, they're looking at it from, I've got a boss, and that boss is tracking what are my costs, but at the end of the day too, you can start to sell a little more value and say, hey, I use this guy, he's a little bit higher, but guess what? He showed up, he had a clean trailer, and he delivered it on time. That's all you're asking for, right? Could the cheapest guy do the same thing? Possibly. But you also are gambling a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. My best customer doesn't haggle me on price at all. Whatever it is he takes, I treat him fairly, and it's a great relationship. This is really good because there are brokers out there that don't treat their customer fairly, and they're getting $2,500 rips. You know what I mean? Huge margins. And then once that shipper finds out that you're making $2,500 off of them, things aren't going to be good. Yeah. They're probably going to let you go.
Yeah, I think in today's market, it's a lot easier to just replace a broker real quickly.
Everyone's fishing.
Because there's a million people making phone calls. I definitely think that being fair, I love this relationship.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that Gabe has gotten to this point in his career.
Quickly, too.
Gabe's only, he just graduated high school last week. I'm just kidding. But we did talk to a kid that was in high school the other day.
That was wild.
That was wild.
He seemed like 17.
He seemed smart as hell. But he's gotten there in a wildly quick manner, which I love. So good on you for being able to do that. I definitely think that he's done that just honestly by nurturing the client, helping them out with their needs. And honestly, I think Gabe's probably at a good place where, he can probably bring up issues prior. You know what I mean? I definitely think that it's important that you proactively talk about issues with clients before they become issues.
I'll give you an example.
Right?
We'll answer this.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. If let's say that their forklift, the shipper's forklift breaks down, okay? Getting an understanding of what their detention is, getting an understanding of what layovers are, and just establishing them before they happen is a way better conversation to have than in the moment, right? That truck's sitting there, everyone's pissed off, their forklift's broken down, they're waiting for the forklift guy to come in, the driver's yelling at the broker, the driver's probably being an asshole to the dock guy. Nobody wants that conversation then.
Right.
Let's have it before, right? It's just like I have with my kids. I talk to my kids before we go into the store and let them know that the expected behavior is this. I don't do it in the store. They just know, right? They should know. And if it doesn't work, then we go have some corrective action in the car and we leave, right? Whether it's inconvenient or not for me, right? And so it's better in that particular case to have those conversations up front. Hey, if my truck breaks down this weekend, what do you see as an SOP? What's to be the operating process that we follow?
Okay.
Do you want me to call you first? Do you want me to email you? Do you want me to fix it and let you know the delay? Do you want me to tell the customer the delay? Who should I be communicating with? If you have that conversation before your trucks are breaking down, things are just, everyone kind of understands. Right.
Yeah, no, that's really nice too. Even when it comes to forklifts, or pallet jacks, these are questions like, you guys have them on site. Oh, you need my carriage to have them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I actually have a couple relationships with fork drivers in the area.
Yeah.
We hire them to come in. I think that's not only adds value, but shows that you're willing to think outside the box.
Absolutely.
Find a solution for your customer.
Yeah.
So I love that. Ask those questions ahead of time.
When the customer brings you the problem, that's when you didn't do your job.
Right. That's fair. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, what you don't want to hear from your customer the issue, right? You want to tell your customer, here's the issue. You want to be the first to that communication because that communication is everything, right? And that could be with quoting. We send a ton of quotes back. Well, what's the expectation of that quote? Are you picking up today? Would that help if you started quoting people that you don't even tell them, you just send them back $1,485? Or would it be like, hey, we can pick up by 3:00 today?
Right.
Or, hey, I could probably get this tomorrow morning. Not sure if they're open on the delivery end over the weekend, but that would be my goal. At least that helps with two things. Number one, it visually stimulates the shipping manager to go, oh, this guy's already thinking about this and he has a truck.
Mhm.
That gives me a little more security. It makes me feel a little better than just being treated as a commodity,
Right.
because the shipper is going to be treated as a commodity with all these quotes coming in the same way the carriers and brokers are being treated as a commodity.
Okay.
And we've just limited the pricing has just become shit,
Right.
and the communication has just become absolutely terrible.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you stand out in the spot market? Visually paint that picture. I can pick up in 3 hours. We'll deliver Monday. Here's my goal. Here's what we'll do. Right.
I like that. Nice. So many try to hit a grand slam every day and strike out 4 out of the 5 times. I'd rather have a single every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit a single, steal some bases. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Like, let's just hit the ball.
Yeah.
Let's just get out there and provide good service. I think when people stop looking at
late 20s. Thank you.
that's so good. That's so good. I'm just kidding. But I think when people start to look at, I want to come to work and provide a service, whether you're a carrier or a broker.
Yeah.
We're in a service industry, and the thing that makes you stand out is giving good service, and that can be even when it's bad,
Yeah, even when it's their
even
fault.
when it's shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So those are definitely things that I think when you're quoting, think about it from that perspective. Now, we didn't talk about numbers at all today. That's all going to be based on the actual area of the country,
Right. It's
the
different.
equipment, the weight,
Fluctuates.
all
Yeah.
that stuff. There's so many variables.
Mhm. And we could run through every variable, but
Right.
we'd be here for 2 hours,
Right.
right?
And nobody wants to hear
But
it.
here's what we could do. If you guys are struggling in the spot market and you guys want some extra just eyes or just talk through it,
Yeah.
we are open to
We're
doing
here.
that. Just hit us up. Let's talk through some of the quotes you got going, rates you're seeing. Heck, we've helped some brokers and we've called carriers, to help them out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the way you talk. And
Mm.
so I'm always open to it. I know
Yeah.
you are too.
We
so.
love to help any way
Yeah.
we can.
I love it too. You guys, that's we're about that 30-minute mark. Jared and I got a couple demos today, so we are going to cut it a little bit short today. I believe next week we're going to take some. Maybe we go live, maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, just subscribe. That way you know when we hit the live button, you'll get a notification. Jared's going to take some more time with his family, which I love. So that'll be good. School starts here soon. So, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Be safe out there if you do any traveling.